Now the next step for putting together this comforter project is putting all the layers together. There's a back and then a layer of batting, and then of course the comforter top, which we just talked about in the previous video, sewing all that together. So what you're going to need for this next step is either like a large piece of fabric that's about 6 inches wider than the comforter top on both, well, at both dimensions, or sometimes it's easier to order a cheap sheet, a flat sheet, or you could use a fitted sheet if you want to trim off the edges. And you'll need a layer of batting, and you can buy that either at the craft store, a single bed size piece of batting. It comes in different weights. MCC prefers the polyester as opposed to the cotton for a variety of reasons, easier to clean and quicker to dry, those kind of things. So what they recommend is not the heaviest weight and maybe not the lightest weight, but something medium weight, but lighter is probably better in many cases. Most of the countries where MCC's comforters end up are not particularly cold countries, year-round cold countries, but they do need bedding, and they do need them. They use them for a variety of things. They actually use them for privacy partitions in their tents and those kinds of things. And then you'll need your comforter top, and then the other pretty important ingredient is a big handful of safety pins. There are surprisingly a lot of different kinds of safety pins out there. I have been using the largest ones I could find. These are about an inch, inch and a half long, and they're kind of medium weight. They're not super flimsy, but they're not super stiff either. It's just a matter of what you can find, and hopefully they're on sale, but you'll need a pretty big stack of these, maybe 20 or 30 of these. I forget how many exactly, we'll find out in a minute. And we're going to pin all 3 of these layers together, and then I'll show you what happens next. So I want to thank Lori Babcock in particular for this particular project, because she supplied the sheet that's going to go on the back of this quilt, and she sewed together the top of this one with some squares that some of the other folks in the church cut out for me. So there's a big finished comforter top, very nicely put together by Lori, and a single bed, just regular sheet. The nice thing about the sheet is that you don't have to piece any fabric together to make it wide enough or big enough for a comforter, whereas if you were to go and buy yardage at 45 inches wide or whatever, you'd have to piece it several places in order to get a piece wide enough to be the whole back of the comforter. So the first step is to take this sheet, make sure it's clean, and in this case it's a polyester blend, so it's not particularly wrinkled, and we're going to lay it out flat on the floor. The batting can come in a long roll if you're lucky to find it online on sale. This is the sort of a summer weight batting, and it's not quite wide enough to cover the whole quilt, but you'll see in a minute once we get it stretched out. I'm leaving a little gap around the edge of about 4 to 6 inches, because I want to be able to use the back fabric as an edge binding on the quilt when it's done. Now I'm going to start in the corner and just start smoothing everything both down and over, just using the weight of my arm to keep everything together. Being careful not to cut the backing, just cut the bat right at the edge of the comforter top with your good sharp fabric scissors. And that will go down here to fill in what's left. Make sure everything's tight. Put this strip in, and then fold what's left of the comforter top in. Carefully lay it flat. There'll be just a little bit here to trim off at the top. Now here's where it gets put together. Once you've got all three layers, you can see down here on the edge, we've got the back sheet, layer of batting, and the comforter top, all laid nice and flat, nice and smooth. There's no obvious puckers from the width of the whole comforter. It's nice and flat, but I want to keep it flat and those layers together for the rest of the process. And it's super important that these layers don't shift. So it's important to pin this pile of three layers together carefully so that everything stays put. So you might want to go around the edge one last time and just gently tuck this back layer that might have shifted slightly and just pull it very carefully out around a little bit to make sure nothing is shifted. No puckers on the back side. Of course, it's more important there be no puckers on the top because that's where you're going to be watching the most. And then what I do generally is take these big fat pins right in the center of the square, dig down all the way through all three layers, make sure you feel the floor down there, and pin. I pin about every other square the whole way down to the opposite side and try to hold the fabric tight down. You're not shifting the fabric left and right, you're just getting in there with a pin on about every other square to make sure all three layers stay together. Now once all the pinning is done on the top, it's pretty safe to roll it up, fold it up, set it aside for when you have time to do the rest of this project or just to the next step or to hand it off to somebody else. Some people are really good at the pinning and really don't like to do the finishing work. Other people are really good at the edges and the finishing work. And of course this still needs to be knotted. You could certainly knot it now. You could lay this out and do the knotting next, but I often find it's a little easier on everybody if the binding around the edge is finished at this stage, and then I can hand that off and not worry about anything coming apart when people take this home to do the knotting at home. So the next step after everything's pinned, I mean, this could be moved around and just set aside. It's going to stay together, all three layers. There's a whole bunch of pins on the back, I don't know if you can really see that, that are holding these layers together. But if you want to go ahead and do the binding now, it's all laid out flat like this. I'll show you that process as well. One of the advantages of using the backing itself as the binding is it's just one less step of sewing. You don't have to sew a strip around the whole thing to hold it together. And it's just a nice, neat, clean finish. So I want to show you real quick how I do this. If you're working with a sheet that's already finished at the end, which most sheets are, this is even faster. Basically, you're just taking this edge, this about 4 or 5 inch edge, and folding it. I'm starting in the middle of the quilt, not on the end. Folding it in half, and then folding it in half again over on top of the comforter top itself. Let me show you a little closer. So this is the top with the batting all pinned. This is the sheet from the back that's sticking out about 3 or 4 inches the whole way around. Just folding this border in half and then folding it over again. So it's about an inch, inch and a half wide border. And then when that's folded flat, grab a straight pin and put it down in and out again like that. I tend to do a pin at every junction, which is about every 6 inches. So once the binding's pretty much pinned the whole way around, except the corners, I want to show you what I do with these corners. It's a little bit tricky to see this, but I'm hoping this makes sense. The binding is pinned so that it's tight on both sides, and now we've got to deal with this. The leftover fabric is just going to be in the way. So what I'm going to do there, and I hope you can see this okay, because it's dark blue fabric. It's kind of a little bit tricky to see. But basically I'm going to do like a mitered corner here with this fabric, but I'm going to cut, once it's pressed down and it's pretty tight, I'm just going to cut at an angle like this, all that extra fabric off. And then what's left here, I'm just going to fold it gently under about a 1/4 inch so it's closed, and try to keep it at that same angle to that corner so that it's a nice neat 45-degree corner, and then get a pin to hold that tight. Now this is sticking out over here a little bit at the bottom. I'm going to do it again, and then just hold it tight like that. And then when it's time to sew this binding on, you just go around that edge and double stitch on the corners, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here I am back at the machine, and I've got all the corners pinned, and I've got a pin about every 6 inches the whole way around this comforter. And I'm just going to run a stitch that binds the binding on, but that also holds all these other layers together, and it's sort of the last finishing sewing part of this job. And I've chosen to use a fabric that, a thread, I'm sorry, that is the same color as this, so it'll just disappear when this stitch goes in, and it'll have a very neat finished around the edge look. As I get to a place where the pin is in the way, I just pop it out, make sure everything still holds nice and tight. When I get to a corner like this and I want to turn the whole quilt, I'm just going to leave the needle in all the way down, turn the quilt 45 degrees, and start stitching along this edge about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And there you have it. All the edges are sewed shut. The binding on the front looks nice and neat. Just need to do a little trimming of all these loose threads and make sure all your pins are out so you don't hand somebody a quilt with lots of pins in it. And now this one is ready to be knotted. I'm still going to leave all these safety pins in. That's really important. The safety pins don't come out until all the knotting is finished. So obviously the next step is to give this comforter that's all pinned. The binding's all done, but it's pinned and ready to be knotted. I'm going to just go fold it up and give it to whoever calls me and says they're ready for a comforter for a knotting project. People have been calling and saying that they're doing this with their kids. Some of them are being homeschooled right now because of the pandemic. And this is a great project for them to do a little community service, get together with their neighbor kids if they're safely in the same bubble. And a lot of the people who are working on this knotting together are doing it in family groups or in grandma, grandpa, grandchild kind of projects. And as soon as that's all knotted, it's ready to deliver to MCC. Thanks for watching, and I hope that encourages you to get involved in this comforter project.